Hello everyone, and welcome to Downhaven Entertainment. Today we will be reviewing Iron Man 3. What? I look nothing like him. Okay, now I wasn't a huge Iron Man fan before the two movies came out, but I have seen the first two movies, and after seeing the first two Iron Man movies, I still wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man. But I did love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and though I'm not a fan, I realize and respect that Marvel has made a cinematic universe making characters such as Thor, Iron Man, and Black Widow household names. And I realize that Marvel did their own thing with their characters, with it being more lighthearted rather than going the whole dark and gritty trend Hollywood loves to follow, and Iron Man was a superhero action flick that felt like I was reading a comic that was just splashed onto the big screen. Iron Man 2, however, squashed whatever I liked about Iron Man from the first flick. Therefore, I came to not liking Iron Man at all. Yeah. And I was never a fan of Iron Man's suit being CGI. I see all of these YouTubers making EVA foam Iron Man costumes that function, and they make them in their basements on a $0 budget, and I found their work to be more impressive than Hollywood, believe it or not. Yes, the suit is supposed to fly and do all the junk that's impossible, but that's when you use CGI. And the use of their villains was average to abysmal. I was really digging Whiplash till I found out that the final battle was so short and fast that it gave me whiplash. So of course when this movie got all the hype surrounding it, I was like, why? But how did the movie fare out? Well, let's get into the movie. The movie was directed by Shane Black. I've never seen his movies, but I've heard he's great at direction and script writing. And if that's the case, it really shows in Iron Man 3 because I had a fun time. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man. What else can I say about Robert being Tony Stark? He is Tony Stark. Superb job. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. Don Cheadle as James Rhodes, who was given some more things to do, but it was still a letdown on what this character is capable of, but is wasted in every movie. It's like Marvel is just too scared to have anyone outstage Robert as Iron Man, but I don't think it will. I think it would add to the dimension of this character. But I really like James Rhodes as a character. He's more grounded and well-rounded than Tony Stark in my opinion. And like I said, these two characters can make an awesome team up. Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian, Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, Ty Skippins as Harley. Hey, that's the kid from Insidious. I actually like this kid in this film. He was a breath of fresh air in the Iron Man franchise, and that's rare to see a kid in a superhero movie that's enjoyable. Superb job. Now let's talk about what worked in the movie. The acting and script. The acting was so good in this movie. Every actor brought their game and brought these characters to life. I love how Robert Downey Jr. stayed in character of Tony Stark, even when the character has to get used to major changes in a situation. Though Tony Stark was down on his luck with no Iron Man suit, no money, and some kid helping him out that he has to converse with, there was no change to the character. He was Tony Stark, not some poor sap who lost everything. He was still arrogant and defiant, yet dealing with major issues that make him vulnerable. The events of Avengers affected him, and I thought it was brilliant how they tie the Avengers adventure into this movie, yet the movie is still its own thing and carries its own without relying on the success of the Avengers, and making this movie a filler to the next Avengers, the fatal mistake of Iron Man 2. Guy Pearce plays this weird, eccentric adventure scientist, much like Jim Carrey's Riddler, but more likable, who evolves into this suave, charismatic character, equivalent, if not more successful than Tony Stark. The contrast was day and night. Everyone played their roles awesomely, and it looked like they all had fun playing their roles, therefore the audience has fun. Superb job. The action. Finally, we get some good flying around action with Iron Man. You know, I felt like applauding when Iron Man saved those people from falling off a plane. It got my blood pumping, and the final battle was very satisfying. Things were going haywire. Iron Man fighting and jumping from suit to suit to suit to suit to suit. It was ridiculous and over the top in a good way. We need more of that in our superhero movies. Some good old ridiculousness. Superb job. Unfortunately, we have to move on to what didn't work. That villain. Now, though it was very smart what they did, you know, they fooled me. The trailers didn't reveal squat. Nobody online caught the details, and it's hard to surprise people in this day and age when we have internet gossip and set photos being taken by the public to be analyzed. Heck, not even Chris Nolan could do it in The Dark Knight Rises. It's impressive. But I read up on the man Mandarin and who he is in his history, and I was a little disappointed. So I'm right down the center with this. Now the whole switcheroo worked in Batman Begins because they changed things but still kept close to the source material. They took the gaudy appearance of Ra's al Ghul and put it on a stage person, and that was enough to trick people. Now fans like me know Ra's al Ghul is not Asian and just sitting on a chair plotting all day. He's active, and fans were calling foul play up until we see who Ra's al Ghul really was. Then you start piecing things together and start saying, oh, clever. His motivations were there. He even had his signature gold tee, and it was a great Ra's al Ghul. Now with the Mandarin, I can see if I was a fan of the source material and the fan being disappointed. You find out that the Mandarin is not this gaudy bad guy. He's a scientist. Not even that, the Mandarin was an ideal created by Aldrich Killian, acted by some drug addict loser. Hence, the Mandarin is a fictional character in a fictional movie. And when he screams, "I am the Mandarin," I was like, no, he's not. He's the dude that came up with the character. Heck, there was not even a feature on him that would hint or show that he was the Mandarin. He's a guy in a suit that regenerates and breathes fire. Now, his character was cool, but he's not the Mandarin. I'm not even sure what his goal was or what he planned to do after he succeeded. And I'm sure the character is not like this in the comics. So this is straying too far from the source material to please fans, I would think. But if I were to guess, it pleased the average moviegoers. But the thing that disappointed me as an average moviegoer was that I thought they were going to have a huge difference in the type of villain in the movie other than the scientist. A new type of threat with mystical alien technology, because in the comics, the Rings Mandarins were our alien tech. Wait, alien technology? Avengers? Thor? If we connected these things together, alright, back to reality. The humor. I've always loved the humor in the Marvel movies, but this was a tad too funny. Remember that scene where Pepper Potts fell like 8 stories into a burning metal? I knew she wasn't going to die, but I was surprised how the events were unfolding. And yes, some tension was building, but like maybe 1 minute later, there's a running gag of Iron Man's prototype suit not always working as planned. It's coming towards Iron Man like it's going to be a great finale between Killian and Stark, but the suit malfunctions, and he was like, ugh, whatever. And it was a funny moment, but the tension dropped. Stuff like this made the movie feel like an outright comedy. The ending. Everything was tied up too neatly in an unimpressive way. Iron Man has that heart thing protecting him for 3 movies, one of which he created a new element for. Still trying to process that. If he didn't do so, Stark would go dark. Yet they are telling me after 3 movies, all he needed was surgery to take the shrapnel out. Yeah, that's anticlimactic. The man who created a brand new element, who built a ton of Iron Man suits, created this
in a cave with a box of scraps,
didn't get the idea of getting surgery to get the life-threatening shrapnel out of his chest. Or when Pepper Potts defeats Killian just like that, when she gets that explosive/rejuvenating fire-breathing powers that she somehow knows how to control. Even when Killian himself is a 10 in martial arts. At this point, I felt that the writers just threw up their hands and said, screw it, we're done, let's go eat some corn and get paid. Overall, the movie is okay. It's fun and it's enjoyable, better than the last 2 movies, but I don't see myself buying it when it comes out. I feel this movie would have been a great second entry to the franchise, with Stark overcoming human problems and learning to be a hero that relies on Stark rather than being Iron Man per se. To where we have Iron Man 3 having more Iron Man in it. But like I said, the movie is not worth the hype to me. It's a fun movie and I'll give it that. But I'd like to either see more Iron Man in an Iron Man movie or side characters giving some cool things to do, because I would have loved to see more Iron Patriot and Iron Man team up and do some cool stuff together. So that's my opinion, and I'll have to give this movie a solid B.